So, what elo are you again? Like, gold 5?
Uh, I'm silver 5 actually. I just climbed silver 5.
Ah, okay. So, okay, yeah. So, the Sun game, like, what are your thoughts on the game first?
What do you mean? Like, why did we lose or what?
Well, about, like, how... Okay.
um, well, the
Yeah, it's like thoughts on the game, how the lane went, and how you played in general, really.
well, to be honest, the Scion was a bit weird early on. He walked into lane with low HP and stuff, and but I still think I played it bad. Like I could have survived multiple times when I fought him, and well, I didn't. I died multiple times for no reason in lane. I'm talking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and well, I managed to get some sort of an advantage, but I always have a hard time winning from my advantage, like on Irelia precisely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, in all four of the games, like the problem that I see you have is it's like with how decisive you are about like where you're moving on the map. You often it seems like you don't like know where you should be on the map and where you can actually, do something with your lead,
Well,
right?
yeah, and I try to save like TP for opportunities like ganks or whatever, but I end up never using it.
Mm-hmm.
I just end up never using it. I keep it for no reason.
Okay. So we'll go into the game. So this is fine. You can ward your red buff here, like the bush in front. This one here,
Okay, yeah, okay.
but you
In
don't
case
really need
in
to
case
do that.
they're doing the same, in case
Yep.
they're also invading. Okay.
I wouldn't actually expect Nocturne to start on blue here.
Why not?
Hmm? Because his red start is much stronger. He
Okay.
doesn't he doesn't need the mana to clear.
Okay, I see.
So then like Sun walking into lane late, he walks in here.
Yeah, and
Um, so this tells you Nocturne started topside, right?
yeah, and he probably tanks a few shots for him.
Mm-hmm. What you can do at like this point is, do you know what the path Nocturne is going to take now? Like the standard path that Nocturne would take.
Well, well, I'd imagine he'd go to red buff second. No.
So he'd probably go wolves, red, gank, or since his red is stolen, you'd expect him to just farm his bot side once he
And
finds
then
that.
gank. Okay.
Probably base because he won't. I think he'll be pretty low at that point. So if you look at your ward timer, right, your next ward will come up in like 1 minute. I think it's 1 minute, yeah. So at this point, using your ward leaves you the next ward will come up like um when
He's basing.
when he's going to be more likely to be on your side of the map, right? Because if
Okay.
he clears like this, right, he'd finish this at about maybe 320. He'd be out of base,
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
and then of course, but when he comes out of base, nothing in his bot side. Like, there's no reason for him to go in his bot side, right? Because he's already farmed all of this.
Yeah.
So
So he's gonna go top side.
the only place he can do anything is farm the top side or
And
gank, right?
okay.
And in that case, you assume that it's most likely that he's going to go from base to the side where he doesn't have any where he has all his camps up.
Camps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, of course, the other option for Nocturne is to go like this, right?
Invade. Yeah. Okay.
Now that depends on if your team got spotted, but I didn't see any info on your team getting spotted. But given that this lane is pushing, right? I think the best time for you to ward here is now.
Right now.
Yep. Or
Yeah.
like
Okay.
when you clear out this last minion here.
Okay.
Because him invading, he lose. Well, I mean, he started blue, so he's going to lose quite a lot of HP on his clear. So if
Okay.
he invades, he's probably not going to gank immediately afterwards. And otherwise, anyway, if he ganks from this side, you're just going to Q on him, right? You're going to use your Q on him, and if
Yeah.
you absolutely need to, you're going to flash out. But anyway, at that point, also you'll have more gold, right? Because you'll be in base later. So even dying is like dying now would be a lot worse than dying in like 1.5 minutes, because in 1.5 minutes you
I'll
might
have some deck
actually.
to buy.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's why you'd want to ward at this point now, right?
Okay. I didn't.
Hmm?
I won't. I don't think I
Yeah, no,
will.
no, you don't. But
Okay.
but you understand more or less why. Okay, you do actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So this is fine. That trade's also fine. He flashes, which is just
Yeah.
whatever. Right. So now you see him
I don't think I
on
did.
the minimap.
Yeah, I see him on the minute, but I don't think I did.
But this is fine. Like, um, yeah, this is all fine.
Okay.
I think he can't have gone bot side as well. I don't know. I'm actually not sure what really goes. What did you use your Q on there?
Uh,
The minion. Yep.
it happens actually quite a lot. I Q on a low HP minion, and I sometimes I do get the gold but not the reset.
But that one you didn't get the gold. Like,
Yeah, I know, but it does happen.
but you look at the HP of that minion. Like, do you think that's gonna die to your Q?
I thought so. I actually still think so. I'm not sure.
I think this one dies, not this one.
Yeah. Okay.
You need to know your damage of your Q much better.
Okay.
So you need to be really aware of how much damage it does. Like at all points, whenever you use your Q, you want to know how much damage it's going to do. And then here the lane is like, this is in a good spot for you, right? Because you can now freeze it. And he can't really walk up because you're going to hit level 4 soon, so you're going to be able to fight him. And whatever happens in the jungle doesn't matter at this point, because Echo's not there. That Q is... I don't like that Q. You use smart cost with indicators, right?
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure about on high ping, because you play on pretty high ping. But I think basically always normal smart cast is better, because it just saves you time.
Okay.
So you can use like smart cast with indicators at times, like for specific spells, but you generally want to use normal
Smarter.
smart cast. Yeah,
Normal smarter. Okay.
it takes a little bit of time to get used to, but yeah. Here, do you see this minion shot here?
No, I
This
yeah,
one here.
I see it now, but I didn't see it then. Okay,
Yeah.
that's gonna kill him, and
Well,
I'm not gonna get the reset.
I think you actually misclick because of that. Yeah. So you misclick on the other minion.
Yeah.
That's kind of unfortunate, but you have to be like, again, like what I said about the damage, you just have to be really careful there about the way you use your Q. And actually there, if you'd used Smart Cast, I think you would have got at least the jump, but it would have died like in the middle of your jump. Right? So you would have targeted it now, so you would have dashed to the minion as it died.
Already, okay.
But you have to be like really aware of when the minion's going to die and stuff like that. Because you do see like beforehand that this minion is taking damage, right?
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So you have to think about that like beforehand before you use your Q. Get it?
Yeah, I got it. I don't think I even realized that my Q was on cooldown then.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I have the same sometimes. Like I expect to get a Q reset, and then I found like 2 seconds later I don't have my Q. But like the only way to get around it is by being really aware of your Q when you can use it for a reset.
Okay.
That one again. You need to you need to
Yeah.
if you activate your W there, I think you would be able to
It would have killed
reset.
them. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like the other way you use your Q, is using your W like to get it extra damage, right?
And it's gonna get the reset at a higher HP than normal.
Mhm. So
Okay.
that's the same with like Sheen. So when your Sheen is off cooldown, you obviously get more damage on your Q. So there's like a lot of ways you can like there's a lot of factors that change the actual damage of your Q
Of the
at
Q,
different
yeah.
points in game. So sometimes you can just like try it on minions, for example, how much damage it does. Say if you're like split pushing in a side lane, you just try it on a random minion and see how much damage you do.
How much? Okay.
But otherwise, often especially in the laning phase, it just comes down to like how much you practice and how well you know, um, like how well you know the champion, and then how well you can predict like based on your items, for example. So if you'd get like a longsword Dorans, you'd get
How
a
much
lot,
damage is gonna do?
yeah, like approximately how much damage extra you'll get from doing that.
I see. Oh.
Other than that, I think, yeah, so you do kill him here. Now,
But I'm gonna die.
you should have flashed,
Yeah.
sorry, you
Yeah,
should have
I
E'd
should have
him.
flashed.
No, no, you just stun him, right? You just stun him here,
Yeah.
and you walk out. And then again, I think if you had Smartcast there, I think you would have got it fast enough.
I'm gonna change into smart guns like soon.
hmm
As soon as
And
I get back to the game.
then this buy is fine. Phage is good. And then,
Is there any point where I can get Sheen first? Like any
not
matchup?
really. The
Okay.
only time I think you get Sheen first is if you're starting with Longsword in mid lane. Like if you start Longsword and 3 pots, then you can go Sheen second, because then you only have mana problems on your first, like before your first base,
Yeah,
and then
but
the Sheen like helps with the mana problems, and you already have the extra damage from Longsword.
I'm wrong for yeah. Okay, I see.
Because for the cost, um, there's like there's a lot better stuff than Sheen for the cost, basically, at least damage wise.
For 150
So
gold. For 1,050 gold.
yeah, well, for example, if you take BF sword, right, it's 250 gold more, but it gives you 40 damage on each auto attack, and Sheen is about like to 75 to 90 damage for each time you use it, and you can only use it like twice in a trade. So as soon as the trade goes beyond like 3 auto attacks, BF sword
BF
does
is
a
a lot
lot more
better.
damage. And then if you include your alt as well, like it's much bigger. And then the same, I think the same is true for Phage. Um, for example, Doran's longsword is only 800 gold, and it out damages Sheen at 5 or 6 auto attacks if I remember
Right.
correctly. How much is it? 17. Four auto attacks per Sheen proc after 4 auto attacks, and that doesn't include alt costs, of course. So generally Sheen doesn't give you that much in terms of damage, and the cooldown reduction isn't that big anyway either. There's also a thread actually where I posted on a while back in Irelia mains. I'll link it to you later. That has some like it's a detailed description of it.
Okay.
And then you kill him again. That's fine. And then here you want to push the lane out fast because you want to base. Okay, that's fine. I think you still want to push the lane out fast here, right? Because you're looking for a base again.
Yeah.
So you can buy, if you push that out fast and you got a full push on it, you'd get boots and 2 daggers. But then based on Nocturne coming, still shoving the lane benefits you because then you have a bigger minion wave. Well, they have a smaller minion wave, so the minion wave is more stacked for you. So you just use the minion aggro to win the 2v1.
Okay.
So this is fine. Here what you want to do is actually wait. I forget how this plays out. You still get out, yeah. No, that's fine. And then here you have to watch mid. Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna die from mid, I
Mhm.
think.
And this is one of the things I don't think you do that well, is watching the map. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then here you die to Diana. There. At this point, what you want to get is boots. I would potentially just get Tabby at this point, because you have enough damage, and you just want to get back to the lane faster. But, I don't know. Echo, no, he doesn't go up. But you'd lose less minions. Like, you'd get this cannon minion if you had boots. So, like, when you base and you want to get back to lane fast, usually you want to look for buying boots.
Okay.
Because usually the advantage you get is small, but there's a lot of cases where you get 2 or 3 minions, and I'd say that's usually worth it, because the difference between 1 and 2 daggers, for example, so if you had Phage and then you went 2 daggers instead of dagger and boots, like the amount of extra damage you get is usually not that big in practice.
So it's not worth the minions I will be losing.
Mm-hmm. And then also in this case, like just going for the 2 daggers and boots, and I wouldn't go for the red ward here. I wouldn't buy, I would just not buy red wards at all for laning. I'd only get them for like objectives in your elo,
Okay.
and then the thing is you get boots and 2 daggers here. Your damage is better than from Sheen, because you're about to hit level 9 as well, so the attack speed means a lot for your W.
Yeah, okay, I see. I don't think even when I do get the red wards, I don't use them much. Like, I find myself just buying it and then selling it later because I need the spot.
No, just don't buy it. Literally just don't buy red wards unless you know you're going to be walking to an objective, immediately out of base.
I see. Okay.
Maybe if nah, actually just don't do it, because the like to know where to place red wards, you have to understand macro reasonably well in the first place. But like if you don't know the macro in the first place, you're just gonna be wasting the wards. So
I'm
once
wasting gold by buying it.
once you understand like, and you'll know where you need to put a ward when you understand more of the macro. So buying before, like buying wards before you know, like, okay, I'm going to place a ward here at this point in time because of the game, like the way the game is going. It's until you get to that point, like there's not really any point in getting red wards.
I see.
I mean, if you want to learn how to place red wards, play support, but I wouldn't play support in silver elo.
Okay.
I'd rather neck myself. It's really aids. And then here, like here where you'd place the ward is just in the tri bush. Because you have reasonably good control over the lane. And like this path is kind of exposed because Talon's getting pushed in. Right?
I see, yeah.
And the alternative is you place it here, but the problem with placing it here is it's harder for you to defend. So there's like a lot of stuff like that you have to know properly before you know like whether a ward will actually be useful or not, because it's 75 gold for something that can be like really, it's really easy to just give to the enemy. Okay, here what you want, like when stuff like this happens, you see how there's like 4 or 5 people mid.
Yeah.
You want to look over at mid. Like you can, you get the minion and then quickly, like 1 second, look over at mid, see who's at what HP, everything like that. You might even see someone use an ult or a flash or something like that, right? So
Yeah.
just occasionally looking at when people group up like this, you get so much more information, and like it just helps you a lot in terms of what you want to do. And then like if you were looking here, you would see like Diana would be full, Sion would be mostly full,
And
and then
I'll
they
know
all
that.
disappear off the map, and then Nocturne runs towards bot side. So I would expect I would like you don't see Diana moving towards bot side here, so you'd expect her to either be mid still or come top. So there's
Or
no
coming to me.
so there's not I don't see like you don't ever push this. I think here you don't walk up in the lane. If anything, like this is a good timer to place your red
The
ward, and
thing,
you can just
yeah.
walk down into mid.
Well, because I think because I saw them in the bot side, I thought Diana and Sion would also be there.
Yeah, but
That's why
you have to actually look there with like hover the map over it. You still get the return kill,
yeah.
but like you have to actually look at the map. You don't just look at the mini map when, especially when it's like 2 or 3 people. I make a habit of doing it even when there's like a jungler ganking. Here again, you want to get the boots instead of the dagger. You see this minion wave here is piling up.
So I will lose it because I don't have boots.
Well, you lose like 2 or 3 extra minions because you don't have boots.
I see.
And then like this, at this point the fight is whatever. Like you have nothing to do in that fight. So like the fight is relevant to you when you're looking to do something elsewhere, right? When you're saying, can I actually push up here, or will someone come down? Come to my lane, and will I get punished? And again, like Talon keeps pinging, missing. So
Uh,
I mean, at this point, really, what you want to do, because look how close you are to Triforce, right? You just want to farm up Triforce without dying anymore.
Okay. And should I expect Diana to keep ganking me? Like in a similar situation, should I expect the mid laner to keep ganking me?
Not necessarily, but you can like the ward in the. I don't like where you placed the ward in the river. I think you should have put it either in the tri-bush or like here. Because here in the river, it doesn't like you can't walk up further than this line in the lane, right? Because otherwise, it's just going to take you too long to walk out of the lane between when
Yeah.
you see them when you start to see them on the ward. But I wouldn't expect the mid laner to gank you this much. But at this point, there's no reason to play aggressive, in my opinion.
Why not? Because
Why?
I'm close to Triforce.
Because
Because
you're
I'm
close
close
to
to Triforce.
Triforce, your TP's up, and your flash is almost up. And your ult is not up yet, right? So you've
Okay.
got these things coming off cooldown, so I'd say sure you could try and play aggressive once your ult is up, but at the same time once your ult is up you'll have Triforce, and you can just use that elsewhere with TP, with or just running down. And then you'll have flash, ult, Triforce all ready for a fight, and you're only like 11 minutes into the game.
Okay.
Right? So getting to Triforce early and then getting the and then at the same time having your spells is really powerful, right? Because it just lets you, in a team fight, if you make a team fight, it's gonna let you do a lot more.
I see. Okay.
So now you see Diana bot, so now you can be more aggressive. Okay. You want to push this wave out quickly and you won't have base, I think. When Nocturne ults like this, do you have the F keys so that you like hover over your enemies using the F keys? F1, F2, F3?
And my allies,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, your
Okay.
allies.
But I don't do it much. Like, actually, I don't do it ever.
Well, if there's ever like any time, if you don't do it in normal games, that's kind of alright. But if there's a Nocturne on the enemy team, it's so useful because if you hover over them, Nocturne's Q, like the black
Yeah.
market leaves.
Yeah. I know.
With the ult, right, you can still see that, so you can see where Nocturne actually is. So for all you know, like I can't remember where your allies were, but for all you know, Nocturne could be like here, right?
And ulting to me. Yeah. Okay.
Well, not to you, ulting to an ally that's here. Say your teammate was
Okay.
here, right? And you could actually help here if you actually saw this instead of just pushing the wave and assuming you didn't see anything. So if you see that for example, or for example you might see, well, he's ulting bot. I know we had a ward in this bush, say, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to push up quickly without using any of my cooldowns, and then as soon as the ult wears off, I'm going to look to TP.
Okay.
So it just
I
gives
see.
you more information to plan around when you do want to make that play, right? So I don't even know where he ults. He doesn't
I
ult
think
at
he
all
just
there.
wasted it. Yeah. He just wasted it.
Okay, so you need a little bit more gold for Triforce. Do you see this wave here? This is pushing towards you, right?
Yeah.
You just leave it. You don't need to walk up.
I just wait till he pushes and
Hmm.
then farm it up. Okay.
Yep. And then Sion came in with ult on you. You know, there's stuff like there's no reason to walk up in the lane
Or he can. Okay. I see. I see.
because you remember you're only looking for your base at this point, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. Too late.
Yeah. And I messed up.
You just have to be like more careful, basically. That's what it comes down to. And I don't like this gank. I'd ping them off. Even though you get the kill on him, I would have pinged them away from the gank because like it's just useless. Because you get a kill, like nothing else.
Yeah.
And you lose the mid
But
tower for it.
I already had Triforce anyway, I guess.
Yep. And then here, yeah, you just push it out and then base. Maybe you kill Diana as well. Okay, yep. And then you base. Yep. You just base her. I don't think you needed to use your ult, but I don't know. I guess you get this tower. But then again, the whole thing came like you shouldn't have gone. That gank shouldn't have happened in the first place.
I see, yeah.
Right, see here, you're not gonna get the tower because Sion's back.
Yeah.
And you didn't die to him, right?
I don't remember
no, you
actually.
don't. See, so pushing the tower did absolutely nothing there. Like you got 200 extra gold, which means nothing. And then here you get Triforce and Tabi, which is fine, and the first place you want to walk is bot. Like mid or bot.
Why?
Why?
bot lane?
Because you're in a Triforce, you want to kill people.
Oh. Okay.
Like as soon as you hit Triforce, that's like bam, you know? Now
Yeah,
you're like strong Ionian woman coming to get your vengeance.
Okay.
And remember,
I see.
we could have got
Yeah.
Triforce like 2.5 minutes ago.
Yeah, but I stayed in lane, yeah.
You could have been killing people 2.5 minutes ago. You could have been getting that KDA, so. Like, try. The first thing really with Irelia is just try to use your power spike as much as possible. That's like the most basic thing you have to learn with her. Okay, what a monkey. And then here, so if you'd walked towards like bot jungle, I would have gone into mid from bot jungle and pressure the mid tower. And then from mid, right, we go, if we look back here, right, so you'd be walking this way. Echo would die, you would say, okay, bot tower is useless, go into mid. You pressure mid,
And
you put your ward in the jungle here, you can put both wards down, you still have your red ward, right?
okay.
Then when they finish killing bot, like you keep watching bot, if they just kill the tower or whatever, or just even leave bot, you'll see them moving towards you. You just leave the wave when you can't stay anymore, and then go into top. This wave is piling up, and then you'll catch that minion wave as well.
I see. Yeah, okay.
And so even though you didn't go kill anyone, you would have got like 30 farm and
damage on the
and
tower.
the damage on the tower. Yep, exactly. And also the next thing, the other thing that does is they're going to be going to mid. Like you know where that next move is. You know that when you push out the top wave, you're going to expect them to show up in top. So you can make them show up in places on the map. And then remember your TP is still up. So if something then was happening in bot that you could TP to, you'd be able to TP because Sion would or someone else would be killing the top wave, or the enemy would be losing the wave to the tower, and so either way it benefits you. Right? So Echo dies here, you'd now move towards mid. Talon would probably just base. If he helped you, that's like whatever. You push in the wave quickly, and then you put the wards, and then go back to mid. And then they get the tower in bot.
And they start walking up.
They move, and then you move up about now. Right? And then you wouldn't, like, they would probably respond to the mid instead. If they continued for this tower, you get the mid. And the mid tower is much more valuable than the top tower at this point.
Why?
Because the vision it gives you. Hold on, let me get a big map.
Okay.
Okay, we're using paint today.
Okay.
Oh, can I? Okay. So, let's say we imagine, right, that this tower is up, this tower is up, and this tower is up. Right, all of these towers are up.
Okay.
Where can the enemy safely walk? Right? Well, most of this usually, right? Unless your
Yeah.
team,
Okay.
unless your team like groups up and walks specifically into one of these areas, the enemy team can basically walk along all of this, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
their line of safety, or if you will, right? Their line of safety is basically this wall, at the very minimum.
Okay.
Now, depending on the way the game goes, right? Maybe the enemy has access to the river as well. Depends on the actual positioning at what time the enemy can have
Okay.
access to the river, and maybe like small pockets like this, depending on what exactly is happening.
Yeah. I see.
Right now, let's say mid tower dies, and let's say it was just like your game. So this tower's dead, and this tower's dead. So this tower's alive, and there's no tower here, no tower here. Right
Okay.
now, the enemy's safety line, if you will, with the towers is much more like this. And here it
Okay.
becomes a big, around the top it becomes really grey because it depends on the positioning. Like people, it's much easier, like if someone's defending this tower here, it's much easier for your team to come around from this side, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
collapse on them. Now, if this tower's up, right? If this tower's up, well, you can't have, imagine your team is trying to collapse onto this tower, right? We're trying to do
Yeah.
this. Well, where do we have to put vision to do this? Well, we have to have vision for doing this specific play with this tower up. We have to have vision here basically,
Yeah.
and we'd have to get vision here while we're doing it, and we'd need to know more or less where the enemy is. But
Why
the
do you
point
think
is,
so?
this area here is safe, right, for the enemy.
Because it's our soul. Yeah.
hmm So it's really easy for the enemy to move like this, right? Now imagine if this tower is dead, right? Now the enemy only has this tower. So their safety area is sort of like this. So if you push this wave in here and then go into top, right, the enemy has to walk all the way this way. Right? Do you see how that's
Yeah.
shorter now?
Yeah. I see. Yeah.
So the mid tower, when you're pressuring a side tower, right, this tower is much easier to get when mid tower is dead.
It's down. Yeah. Okay.
Same for the bot tower. Exactly the same for the bot tower. Bot tower is a lot easier to get when this mid tower is dead. Because when this tower is alive, right, often you might not actually have access to this whole part here. Unless you actually prepare vision, or you know the enemy is elsewhere on the map, you don't actually get to go beyond this line. Now if this tower's down, right, now the enemy's line becomes something like this,
Yeah.
right? Like that. So now it's much easier for us to go down here and cut people off from escaping from the tower.
Yeah. I see.
So
So it basically lowers the shortens the line of safety for the enemy team.
yeah, but also like so imagine the other way around, right? Now imagine this tower's up and this tower's down. Well,
Okay.
you know, okay, sure, the line of safety then becomes sort of like this, right? But what does this pocket of the map mean, right? It's completely useless.
Yeah,
There's
because
there's
yeah,
nothing to get in this pocket of the map because
the
you
towers are already.
can't get Herald anyway because of this pocket here, right? So they can
Yeah.
contest Herald just as easily because they can come from here instead of coming from here. Imagine if you get the mid tower, right? Well, they can't come from mid, right? Mid is very long and top is very long as well because you just clear out the plant here, put a ward here, and then they can't do that. And if someone goes into the top lane like this, you can just collapse on them like that. right? When they're coming
Yeah.
from mid, right, from here to Herald, you can't do this unless you're Rammus.
I see.
Or, yeah, well, unless you're Rammus or you're like Jace Karma or something like that. Jace Karma Sivir. But if you're Jace Karma Sivir, you just run into them anyway, like head first, and, you know.
Yeah.
So, you see why the mid tower is much more valuable. Same on bot side, right? Say we say this tower's up and this tower's down. Well, on bot side, for red team, bot tower is quite valuable because, right, if we imagine the zone from mid right here, well, this area, this ramp here, is quite easy for blue team to control because of
Yeah.
the ward here, and especially when this tower's down, because then blue team can essentially get into this area, right?
So it's valuable.
So the bot tower is quite valuable for red team. The bot tower is valuable. The mid tower is valuable, but the top tower is very low value. Now when the
So
top the
unless
go ahead.
yeah, unless I get it early, the mid lane tower is actually a lot more valuable later on.
Yep. Basically,
Okay.
the only time you want to force a top tower actually is because you can get first blood, tower first blood off it.
Yeah.
At least if you're red team, right, and you're killing the blue team tower. Now, if blue team has, if blue team, these two towers now, they become valuable at 20 minutes
Because of
when
Baron.
because of Baron, because okay, like this outer tower is still not very valuable, but this tower becomes much more valuable because this tower essentially controls. If you include the mid tower being up, this tower controls this whole area, right? Now, of course, the controlling this area might not be that useful because it's easy for a blue team to collapse. But on the other hand, it's easier for red team to collapse on mid, and it's easier for this mid tower to get taken. And then once this mid tower gets taken, you imagine now the tower lines are like that. Well, this whole area of the jungle now becomes black,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
For blue team. And now red team it's much easier for red team to get Baron,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Because
I
of the
see.
distance that blue team has to cover through a jungle they're gonna not have any vision in. You get more or less like the idea like behind how it works with the towers, right?
Yeah. I see. Yeah.
I mean, I'll give one more example of now say you're as blue team, right?
Okay.
Well, as blue team, the thing about the red side of the jungle is because of the way the paths are, the side tower on the red side is more valuable than it is on the blue side. So this tower is potentially more valuable, right? So
So
say if
it's the opposite for of the red team. For the red team, the bot lane tower is more valuable. For the blue team, the chocolate tower is more valuable.
a little bit, it somewhat depends on the situation. But
Okay.
if you look at say this tower, right, and this tower, well, if we compare, let's say we lose one of the towers. Let's say we lose the top tower.
Okay.
Now, the thing we have to be careful of here is now this whole part of the jungle potentially becomes dangerous.
Yeah. Okay.
Because now we can collapse in from topside. On the other hand, if you can control this area of the jungle, then all at once this lane becomes dead in this point. Like no one from blue team can enter the lane beyond this line. If red team is controlling the jungle here properly.
Yeah.
Now, this mid tower is still equally valuable, of course. Now, also the thing you have to consider is that um, the the objective, right? Baron doesn't spawn until quite late, and now then Dragon is spawns quite early. So
Okay.
red team getting control over the jungle here, right? Early game is much more valuable because then blue side coming for the dragon becomes harder.
Yeah.
Now, if we're controlling this side as blue team, right? So blue team takes this tower, and then the line becomes somewhere along there.
It's not very
Well, it's
useful
not,
until
might not be useful, yeah.
Yeah, until after 20 minutes.
So the only time it really is useful is if you can actually control this part of the jungle and you can force dives here or force pressure on the tower or control the red buff.
Okay.
But you can control the red buff without the tower, and even with the tower up, you can be in the jungle here forcing a dive here, and then the top laner can't even get into his lane because you can collapse into the top, right? So the tower being up actually denies red team from getting into the lane, because blue team can quite easily collapse like this and make ganks onto the lane. Especially if you're talking about like 13, 14, 15 minutes. Having the towers up can be advantageous for blue team.
Okay.
But there's a lot of details like that. And it does vary a lot from situation to situation, so there is a lot of advanced stuff there, but I mean the basic thing is don't tunnel for outer towers. Like especially in the side lanes, you don't want to tunnel for outer towers. In mid lane, the outer tower is very valuable, but in the side lanes, not as much.
Side lane, not as much, I think.
At least when you're talking about before Baron spawns, right?
Okay.
So, going back to this situation, you expect the enemy to respawn mid because the mid tower is more valuable. If they don't respond to mid and they keep pushing bot, you just take mid.
I'll take it, yeah.
And your inner tower there doesn't matter at all. They don't have a split pusher, so they're not going to be pressuring your inhib in bot lane when Baron is up. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
The thing is, you can more than match any of the split pushes they have. Because you should be able to kill Nocturne 1v1, you should be able to kill
Diana.
Yep. And then your TP here, you should have cancelled this. Right? Like here already, halfway through like this TP at the start, I don't think you even could consider TPing here. Look how far away the fight is, right?
The fight is working, yeah.
If anything, you just walk mid and pressure mid again. Because when you can't get to fight, your objective is to put as much pressure as possible on the map. So when minion waves are hitting towers, right, that's pressure on the enemy. You know, they want to be there picking up the minions and like not having the towers lose HP. Yeah. But actually the biggest thing is just the minions. Like losing minions to towers is horrible if you're doing it all the time. Because that's how you end up with big CS disadvantages. Is when your minions are dying to towers and you can't respond to them. And then at this point, like, there's nothing you can do here because of Talon being top. You just push mid.
Yeah, we're 4v5.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're 4v5.
Yep. Okay. And so if you push mid here, right? Now look at where your vision line is, right? Your vision line in the mid wave is here. There's no way you can contest Dragon from that, because you're just too far. You have to go too far through Fog of War. Yeah. Imagine if you pushed up the mid lane now, and the vision line was here with your minions under that tower.
Yeah.
Well, now you can collapse from this side. The enemy has incentive to be in mid lane as well, because they want to be picking up the farm.
Yeah.
So it becomes much easier to contest the dragon. Potentially someone splits off in mid and then you can look for a 2v3, right, on the dragon. Because remember, you're on your Triforce, so you can, you know, you're 6 kills here already as well. Like, you can 2v3 in a lot of situations. So what you're looking to do is you're looking to put pressure on the map somewhere, and then your team, I mean, their team will potentially split up. And then once they split up, that's when you can really look for fights and picks and stuff like that. And that's how you make picks, is by putting a lot of pressure in a lot of places on the map, so the enemy has to spread out. If you let the enemy group, then you're not going to be able to fight as much, especially when Talon's split pushing top, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you're pushing mid right here, and you potentially, Caitlyn's pushing, you get Caitlyn to push mid as well. They might just forget about the dragon. This is an ocean drake, so, it doesn't matter.
It's not useful, okay.
So they might just go to mid. And then Talon's pushing in the top wave, so they have to go respond to Talon. Someone has to go respond to Talon. And so you can maybe get even more damage on the mid tower.
Okay.
Okay, so they're going to mid. But while they were fighting, you could have just been pushing the mid wave. And then
A lot earlier.
And then this wave would probably not hit your tower because you would cleared half of this wave out. Because now when their minions are under your tower, that means they can deal damage to your tower. And then again, you haven't actually done much since you got your Triforce, right?
Yeah.
Because you haven't been in the right place in the right time. Okay. You want to go into the Nocturne here?
Why Nocturne? Well, Diana is the fed one, if I remember correctly.
But Diana's already going for these people. She's gonna get her damage off regardless. If you kill Nocturne first, you can literally just one-shot Nocturne and then go kill Diana. And your team is stacked here, they have Sona, right? So if you all just tunnel into the same person, Sona's just gonna get a 5-man ult.
Yeah.
Does she even get? No, only 3. But right, if you went onto the Nocturne there, you would have been split up. Some of your team would have been here, you would have been here.
And I wouldn't be hit with the Sun ult.
Yep. Also, there's a minion you can potentially use, right? But I don't know. The fight's too early for the minion. Yeah. So you go onto the. I mean, potentially. Wait, is that the vein? No, that's the vein here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're going for the Nocturne at this point. And then you want to be a little bit better with your camera control.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to unlocked cam. I played with locked for like 2 years.
Okay. Like how quickly can you move from one side to the other side of the screen?
I don't understand.
Like, say if I put my key in the center, right? How quickly can I hit the edge of the screen and then return to the center?
Not that fast, I suppose.
You want to get pretty fast at doing that because that's the majority of your camera movements are just going to be really quick like that.
Okay.
During a fight. So like if you're, for example, if you're orb walking into someone, like let's say we're moving upwards, right?
Okay.
The places you click, right? You click on the enemy champion.
And then
you move up. You can be clicking move commands going up, right? After your auto attack goes off. Do you know how to orb walk?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm not very good with it, but I
practice. You understand how it works, so you just practice at that point. And so you can orb walk upwards while moving your camera, and then you get another.
And then attack again.
Yeah. Alternatively, you can just hold down space while you're doing that.
Yeah. So center my camera on me while orb walking.
But then yeah, other than that, like the team fight goes reasonably well. Mm. But yeah, I think that just the focus at the beginning was wrong. Other than that, I think it's okay.
Okay.
And like you see how like you guys didn't even play the team fight that well, but the enemy just didn't do anything. So like
What would have been?
even if you improve a little bit, like in terms of your focus, in terms of if you had 20 to 30 farm more at this point, if you hadn't if they hadn't had as many kills in the lane, you imagine how much better this fight would have gone, right?
Yeah, maybe. I see.
So it's about like it's not about playing perfectly. It's just about like you make small improvements and then you know, they'll
The
turn
snowball.
gold leads. Yeah, they snowball into bigger improvements, right?
Yeah.
And so you see people like you see like diamond players going in plat and smurfing and getting like 25 kills in a game.
Yeah.
It's not because they are like gods. It's just because at every step they're getting a little bit more than their opponents, and then because you're playing Irelia, Irelia is one of those champions that she continues her lead by getting kills basically. Most of the time is continuing a lead by getting kills, especially when you're
I,
just fighting a lot. Because she's just gonna go like get 4 kills and then get an objective after it if she's winning.
yeah.
So it's about like it's about at every step if you're consistently a little bit better, you will win like a lot more. So you get the tower, that's alright. And then you get the inner tower, and then there's someone calls for the dragon at this point, which is like no one should be even thinking about doing the dragon. More valuable, what's more valuable than the dragon is this minion wave and this minion wave. Like
Yeah. Okay.
the, I mean, literally all you should do at this point is
Go top
you
lane.
you
Get it
think
away.
yeah. Well, they're coming out of base, right? So you don't want while you base, you don't want them to be able to push your towers. You want to kill their minion waves before they can use them.
Yeah. I see.
And then the other thing is like farm wins games.
Yeah, because if
If you had 30 more farm here, you'd have of the order of 600 more gold. Imagine 30, imagine you had 100 more farm, you have like more than half an
a
item.
lot of gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, losing losing farm and then like they're going to be coming out of base, right? Look at
Yeah.
your
So
team's
they're full
health.
HP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no like you never go to a place where they can make a fight. And you should be obviously watching when they're going to come out of base when they respawn. And I don't think you do it at any point here. Oh, you do. You do have the scoreboard up. But you have to look like consistently at when they're going to respawn.
Yeah.
Vayne's already respawned, Nocturne's alive, he's going to be coming out of base soon, the rest of their team is going to be coming out of base soon. Right? So even getting this turret is a little bit, you know.
Risky.
Yep. But you get the turret anyway, and then immediately what you do, you should be watching this minion wave. You should be like, I want this minion wave, because farm, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we said 30 minions, well, 600 gold, 2 kills, right? Double kill for a mountain drake. I'd get the double kill rather than a mountain drake.
I don't think it's even a mountain drag.
I mean, sorry, the ocean drake. If it was a mountain drake, I'd get the mountain drake. But yeah, farm is really valuable, and one of the biggest problems I think with low elo players is they undervalue it. And the biggest thing I think you have to watch at first is seeing when minion waves are coming towards you.
Yeah.
Because these are big minion waves, right? When these minion waves pile up like that, you go up there, you know, it takes you maybe 20 seconds to clear out the minion wave. In 20 seconds, you get, you know, let's say 20 minions in 20 seconds. Well, in one lane, normally you get 6.5 minions every 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, 6 minions and a cannon minion every
Yeah.
and half a cannon minion every 30 seconds, right? So
Yeah.
it allows you to pick up a lot of farm in a short amount of time. So that's why picking up minion waves like that from big minion stacks is always good.
Yeah, I see.
And other than that, like, I don't know, I don't think there's that much more to go, like, to do, because in the end, like, I don't know, I'd like to see you play immediately, like your next games I'd like to see, because I think there's a lot of stuff that you can just change just straight up.
Can you please give me 30 seconds? Excuse me.
Yep.
Sorry.
So what's the last thing I
Yeah.
wanted to go over here was itemization. Um,
You don't like it?
no,
Okay. What's bad going for?
Locket, Locket and Titanic.
Why Locket? I
Why?
don't think I ever built it. Yeah, I don't think I ever built Locket.
Look at the shield values on Locket and More and tell me that Locket is worse than More with a straight face.
I can't be.
Like, Locket is just busted. And it gives you like the same magic resist as More, it gives you some armor, and it gives you shield on like 5 people
Okay.
instead of just yourself. And it's a like all damage shield, not just magic damage, right? So
No.
Locket is busted. Um, you can
Got it.
go you can go Sterix as well. I'm not too big on Sterix, but I think this game you could potentially go Sterix Titanic as well. But Locket Titanic is good as well because like you want the magic resist too.
So the optimal build path here was Locket then Titanic or Titanic then Locket.
Based on your gold right now, how much is Titanic? I think Titanic's 3.6. Can't remember. If you can buy Titanic, you buy Titanic here. Otherwise, you buy Locket here and then go into Titanic.
Okay.
Because you assume Vayne is not going to be very useful until like later on. In which case, you potentially get a Frozen Heart later, or you can go the Randons as well.
Yeah, Frozen Heart also I rarely do get.
But I think More is really overrated. Like it just doesn't give that much.
Okay.
Because Titanic gives you so much more damage, and then Locket is just a better shield item.
Yeah. Okay.
Other than that, like, it's whatever. Do you know? Well, I don't know if. Do you know when to build Titanic?
No,
When you want
I
burst. Like
yeah.
Titanic.
Well, I read some stuff you wrote about Titanic for burst and Blaze the Ruined King for DPS, but I just don't understand when I want what.
Well, think of when can you get DPS? Like imagine a fight. In what kind of fight can you get a lot of DPS?
Against a lot of tanks, I suppose.
No, 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 no. Think about how the fight's going. If you're gonna be CC'd, how are you gonna get a lot of DPS? Because you're not gonna be auto attacking anyone, right?
So against low DPS comps,
A low CC comp,
low CC comps, yeah,
you can get DPS, and I argue
yeah.
in team fights, BT is better DPS item than Blade of the Ruined King.
Uh, the Bloodthirster.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
On the other hand, Burst is better against high CC comps. Sometimes with high CC comps, Burst is also better. Burst, I'd say, is generally the. Usually, I find Titanic is better than BT in a lot of situations, but there are situations where BT is definitely better. But the point is that Titanic is a very good overall item because, BT gives you a lot of survivability from lifesteal,
Yeah,
but you need to be auto attacking to get the lifesteal. So in that sense, it's sustained fights, right? You need low CC, just like DPS, but
yeah,
in the end, you can be more tanky than Titanic. But Titanic allows you to be tanky immediately, right? So it makes it harder to counter by burst. So Titanic is better when you need burst or when you're playing against burst.
okay.
And I'd say also Locket in this case is good because Diana's quite strong. And Nocturne is very much based around his ult. So
When he
basically,
ults, I pop Rocket Shield or
well, when you see someone's about to get burst, you're gonna pop Rocket Shield, and if you're sitting next to them, right?
yeah,
And then what you're looking to do is quickly like either burst one of them that's diving in, or burst someone else on the team.
okay.
But going early Randuins here, I think is not very good because Vayne isn't doing much damage yet. Nocturne is, I don't think, doing much damage yet either. Like most of their team is Syndra. I mean, is Diana.
Diana, yeah.
See the items, right? Vayne doesn't even have attack speed yet.
Yeah,
And the wave clear is also useful because it lets
on
you,
Titanic.
yep, it lets you shove out waves faster when you need to. It's not the reason I'd get the item, like I'd get BT in some situations, even though it doesn't give the wave cliff a split push. But the wave clear is a nice bonus on Titanic, but it's generally a very good team fight item because of the burst it gives. Because it has the active that does like 300 damage.
Which I always forget. I always forget to activate like Hydra.
Deathfire Grasp.
Yeah,
There was
yeah,
like
I
the stat that was like the meme about only 1% of people who bought DFG used the active.
no, I actually didn't know that.
Well, apparently that's true. Whether you
I
choose
see.
to
Okay,
believe it or not, but yeah.
okay. Damn.
Um, Other than that, I think. Do you have any questions about this game? Do you think?
Not that much, no.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, like I've already gotten a lot out of it from what you told me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
next the Singed game. Hello. Okay, so this game, I don't know, it's pretty short in terms of what I actually want to go over. Um, you go, like, what happens early in the lane is kind of whatever. You get most of the farm,
Yeah.
and you can be a little bit more aggressive here because he has no mana. And then I think you kill him, don't you?
Not now.
Okay. Here you. Where is it?
I think I'm gonna die first before I kill him.
Here you want to. When he walks out of the lane like that, you want to ward.
Yeah, okay.
They don't have any like CC to catch you with, other than Singed. So it's relatively safe to walk up to the bush and ward it. And then this is, yeah, like this is all whatever. And then maybe you might have got the kill if you followed him there.
But I didn't have mana for like anything.
Ah, yeah. Okay. True. You might have been able to get Q auto with your W still on, but maybe not. You just ping him
Okay.
off.
I
Because it's like, you're just losing farm at this point. And then when you base, here you get Hex Drinker. And I don't think you get Hex Drinker here.
what
He's not
do I?
pressuring you, and you're not building for 1v1. You shouldn't be building to 1v1 Singed. If you were going to build to 1v1 Singed, you'd basically build Frozen Mallet, Blade of the Ruin King, Executioners, and like it would be a really stupid build because you're just building to 1v1 him.
Yeah, I should be building to kill
You're
the rest
building
of
to
it.
team fight.
Okay.
They have a Jhin, and Jhin is like, Irelia loves killing Jhin. Like Jhin is like the easiest AD carry to kill.
Because when he's ulting, he's standing in one place and not moving.
He's
Well,
standing in one place, he's not moving, he's squishy, he's low mobility, he's low CC,
okay.
right? So like everything about Jhin is like, yeah.
Okay. So what should I have gone for? Like first buy.
Phage.
Phase.
Phage would have
Yeah.
been safe. And then, yeah, like whatever happens. I don't think you follow that. Watch what's arriving at your lane here, a cannon minion. It's pretty close for the kill, but I don't think you should have followed him. You just want to farm up.
Yeah.
Because he's not denying you any farm by proxying. And he's not actually generating that much pressure. And then, yeah, this is all fine. You again bought a red ward, which I don't really like, but
Yeah, I bought it and I think I placed it like 15 minutes later or something.
close. You have to be more careful about like how fast your opponent is. Usually when I flash after the opponent, I like flash to get a flash order or something. I usually think about it like beforehand. I just walk up, continue walking and think, can I actually get this off?
But in what situations can't I get it as well? Like,
Well, he's faster than you there, right?
yeah, because he altered, I suppose.
But look at your position relative to him, right? You're out of order
Yeah,
range because he's faster than you.
yeah, I
And
see.
you don't have any movement speed, right? He has 370 movement speed.
I see.
And at that point, it's so marginal. Like, you've already forced him out of lane and forced his
Yeah,
flash, right? So I prefer to wait a little bit and think, see if
and he
they
comes
burn their
back without
flash.
flash.
Because you can sort of play a game of chicken, right? You can say, hey, look, if you don't flash, I'm going to kill you with my next auto.
Okay.
And then when they flash, you just walk off and you've got their flash. Other than that, like, your Triforce gets delayed a lot by going Hex Drinker. Um, and then Jin ends up pretty fed because bot's a bunch of monkeys.
I
And
suppose.
if you had Triforce earlier, you'd be able to kill Jin earlier. And killing Jin is fun. So
Yeah, got it.
you don't want to miss those opportunities to kill the enemy AD carry. I probably would have tried to kill him there. Here, you
Yeah,
use RQ to that,
yeah,
RWQ,
okay.
and that should kill this minion. And then, because you have Sheen, you have Hex Drinker, which gives you quite a bit of AD. And then you just kill him there.
Okay. I didn't really think of it that way.
It's another way, like, you can use your Q damage. I don't know if you've watched like some of the games I play, but I try to be a little bit more creative about how I use my Q damage. You can use your ult to get extra damage for your Q reset. You
Like,
can
like
use your
I
Sheen.
I saw the RQ reset on in ICU stream a few times, but I never really used that.
It's useful. You want to try and use it when you can. When there's a situation that you can use it, it's useful. Mm. Then you get a kill. That's good. Graves is bot, so you want to just shove this out quickly. You can. I can't remember what his TP timer is. If his TP is not up, you continue pushing. But I think his TP is up.
I think so. I don't remember
Yep.
really. Yeah.
I think you get out anyway. Yep. Okay, that's fine. And then you base. And then here you'd have Triforce.
If I didn't buy Hex Drinker.
Yep, pretty much. And then you could have TP'd bot to help Lee Sin. You could have killed Jin. You could have killed Graves. And then okay, so this is like whatever. I'm gonna skip all the laning bits.
Okay.
Why did you die? Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And then here, this game again, I think Hex Drinker is first of all a bad item because it's not going to be that useful in the game. And all you're trying to get is like damage so that you can like kill the Jin
Television, yeah. So
before
so this game
Taric ult.
this game is not a locket game, unlike the other one.
Hmm.
This game I don't have to. Supposedly I don't have to lock it.
Nope.
Okay.
You can get Locket in this game, but you definitely get Titanic first, because what you're looking to do is you're looking to kill Jin before Taric ult.
So burst him down.
Yep.
Okay.
Because like he's like 11 kills and you're 1 kill and you still like shit on him, right? So
Yeah.
you know, if that was a Lucian with 11 kills, you couldn't fight him at this point. But it's Jin, so you can. And then I wouldn't go into I wouldn't even bother with a tank item, with a armored item. At least maybe if the Graves becomes more of a threat, but not because of the Jin.
Because I'm gonna be killing
You're
generally
going
anyway.
you're gonna be kill. Yeah, Jin is gonna be dead. Like
Yeah, I
in
see.
every fight, you're killing Jin. That's all you're doing. And even in this game, you can potentially even get like Mercs is alright because it helps with the CC. But you see, Jin is dead. Like you go into fight,
Yeah.
Jin's dead. Uh, you just leave.
Okay.
And then I think I don't know, you're not that low, but you don't have ult, so there's like
Risky.
fighting there's not very nice. You could have used the minions there to Q reset
Or
here.
the WQ. W is active, so yeah.
But he flashed, so he gets out anyway. And again, Jin's dead. Like every one of the fights, Jin is dead because you can kill him so easily. So like getting the Titanic so you can do that really consistently is what you want to do. And I think you can go with Locket this game because you
Because
like the magic resist against the Singed and the Ari.
yeah, okay.
But going for the Randuins like leaves you so low damage because at some point like you're not actually going
Because
to 100 to 0 Jin anymore if you build tank.
I suppose because I was still tunneling on the fact that Jin is fed.
Hmm.
Like
But that's fine, like, you should be tunneling on the fact that Jin is fed, but you should also be abusing the fact that Jin is really squishy and easy to kill. So you can really easily just go, full damage. That's fine, you wait out the ult. What you want to do here, right? You see this happening, right? What you want to do is
yeah,
you just ult, you get the Ari, right? And here you just back out immediately.
yeah,
As soon
okay,
as Taric uses his ult, you back out. Alternatively, what you can do here is you Q to the Ari, right? Here you place a ward in the bush
and
and Q to
ganja.
Jin. Yep. But he's a
Yeah,
little bit far, so I don't not 100% sure if you get to him, and Taric ulted Jin already, so this is good. So you kite back like this and you wait for the ult, and then you're looking for Jin again. So stun Taric and then you go up to Jin, which is perfect. And this is exactly how you want to do it. So you kill Jin. Like Jin is always dead,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I see.
I remember like the patches after Jin, like when Jin became really popular, and there was like Jin every game. All I did, like in champ select, every time I said let the enemy team pick Jin, Jin will be dead the entire game, and that's exactly what happened because like
What
this
happened?
was this was when lethality was good, so I could literally go around one-shotting the Jin every single game.
I
Like I
see.
would just build Titanic lethality and just one-shot Jins all over the place. And like Jin is literally the worst AD carry you can pick into Irelia. So unless you have a really good like peel comp, but again, like the damage, you can build damage here because of that.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, I don't know. What do you build? I forget what you build after.
I
Unlucky.
think I will go for.
Oh, you get out. Well, nice. Yeah, you don't go for blade here. I mean, you can go for blade, but the thing is, Anya's solo, like Anya's cooldowns are pretty low, so she can actually deal with their front line. And they don't have that much of a front line in the first place. Like, Singed is the only front line that's a danger to your team because he actually does damage. And he can kite people. But Taric is completely useless in terms of a tank. So if you just kill off the whole of their team, and then like there's Taric and Singed left, it doesn't matter. Like the enemy team is lost at that point. So like what you have to be focusing on doing here is just killing the whole back line, and that's specific to this team composition.
So Titanic. So
Yep.
Titanic.
Blade, I think Blade is very situational at the moment. Like, there's not that many situations where you should be getting Blade. Um, I think actually that probably covers most of it for this game. And see here in this fight, you're not in a position to get to Jin, right? So the fight goes bad because you can't get to Jin.
I think this is the fight we lose the game.
Yeah, I mean the game's basically lost at this point when you lose this fight. But let's see how we approach this. Here, you know which way you go into this fight? You go from this way.
Back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you're looking for Jin.
Yeah.
And this is a game you potentially even get Ghostblade to position better. But it's not. I wouldn't recommend doing Ghostblade consistently. You can get Ghostblade so that you can get to Jin quicker. Basically, that's the reason you get it. But you can also get Mercurial and do exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
This is also actually potentially a game where you go Mercurial and BT because their CC isn't that high. They have like you wouldn't expect Jins to be snaring you that much. Like the only CC that's really relevant to you is Taric and Ari, which is anyway it's going to be quite like it's usually not going to be, it's going to be one of them that hits you and then you can just kill everyone after you cleanse it. So, I mean, there's a number of different build options you go this game, but going for sort of like a tanky Blade with the Ruin King build is wrong here.
Okay. So I should be working on my build choices.
Yeah, I'd say generally if you're looking for a safe option to build Titanic.
Titanic second.
Yep.
Most of the time.
Most of the time it'll be Titanic second. Sometimes you can get Locket second, sometimes even Randuin second. But usually it'll be Titanic. And then after Titanic, you usually want Cleaver, Locket, GA. GA is going to be changed next patch though. But yeah.
Okay. In what situations should I get Randuin second? Because basically, whenever there's a Fed AD carry on the enemy team, I go for Randuin.
Well, it depends on if it's a crit AD carry. So like if there's like a Ashe or something and you're laning against a Yasuo, so there's two crit champions on the enemy team and they're both like a threat to you, that's when you get Randuins.
Randuin, okay.
If there's just one, you just kill them, right? Like the only person that's actually a crit champion against you in this game is Jin. And Jin's crits are anyway, it's only 25% of his hits. and he's dead anyway, so he's completely
Yeah.
irrelevant. So Randuin's is like, no.
Wasted. Okay, I see.
Other than that, I don't know. I think, do you want to leave it at that, and then see how you do, and then we can do another one some later time?
Okay.
Sound good to you?
Thanks. Yeah, yeah, sure.